Microsoft's mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. I'm Hugh Osborne, a recent Microsoft in the Classroom advisor. I'm working on a book called The $3 Trillion Solution about reforming school reform using a 21st century innovation model. I'd like to talk about an opportunity for Microsoft to empower people and organizations by leveraging what may be the biggest disruptive innovation on the planet. First, we'll look at the barrier keeping K-12 schools from innovating. Then we'll delve into the 21st century paradigm and see how it can break this barrier. Finally, we will explore Microsoft's opportunity. American K-12 schools have a complex, immensely important, and virtually unknown relationship with innovation. To see this, let's start with a graph. In the past 30 years or so, U.S. industrial productivity has risen 80%, primarily because of the innovation revolution. Industry after industry has been transformed by innovation spirals, driven by ever more powerful silicon chips as predicted by Moore's law. In architecture, buildings that couldn't have even been imagined 30 years ago are now designed in computers. And in entertainment, millions of gamers interact in elaborate fantasy worlds inconceivable a few years ago. But the innovation spiral in U.S. K-12 education never materialized. School productivity has dropped almost 50%, leading to a growing innovation gap and a growing crisis. We've all seen the numbers. U.S. students do poorly in language arts, history, math, and science. This has left our workforce outcompeted by those of other countries with more innovative school systems. The innovation gap is costing us $3 trillion, or 20% of our GDP, a vast sum that, if recovered, would dramatically improve America's economic and political situation. This gap also leads to deep societal, personal, psychological, and political costs. But just as important is a largely unrecognized effect. Our schools also inhibit organizational innovation. Two top management gurus say, the prevailing system of management is destroying our people, but we will never transform it and create ways of working together that are vastly more satisfying and more productive without transforming our prevailing system of education. They are the same system. Why is this? Because in the 19th century, U.S. schools were essentially designed to stamp out innovation. Their goal was to knock the problem-solving and self-reliance out of farm kids so they could work in factories. To do this, our schools were modeled on the Prussian army, using a command and control model with a low view of human potential and very low innovation. Environments were artificial, like factories, and they were driven by obedience. This culture exists today, with teachers treated like factory workers, often paced, scripted, and tightly measured, with testing culture run amok. This factory-age model is the innovation barrier keeping our schools in the 19th century. To be sure, we have many dedicated creative teachers and administrators, but it's hard for them to buck the system. For the vast majority of schools, their 19th century heritage keeps them from innovating and improving. And our reform efforts are also 19th century and equally ineffective. Today's reformers believe that the problem is that teachers are under-accountable, so they overtest our kids and are antagonistic to teachers and their unions. As a result, education has devolved into what Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times calls an exhausted, blood-soaked battlefield. Both sides in this battle base their views on deep misconceptions, part of an immense communications gap at the heart of U.S. education. Although full of promise, technology has been part of the problem. Creative digital approaches are simply incompatible with the 19th century model. As a result, technology is often used in schools to support factory-like drilling and testing in computer labs, and school leaders too often believe that technology alone makes a 21st century school, and then only get 20% of expected value from their investments. So how do we break the innovation barrier holding our schools back? The innovation revolution has created a 21st century model dramatically different from our school's 19th century model. The 21st century model is based on long enduring ideas, creativity, collaboration, and the use of powerful tools. But it has evolved rapidly in the 35 years of the technology revolution. It views human potential as virtually unlimited and leads to the highest levels of innovation. In this paradigm, instead of commanding and controlling people, you engage them with meaningful goals, empower them with powerful, flexible tools, including cognitive and social-emotional tools, and connect them so teams can collaborate their way to success. There are existing, well-tested 21st century schooling models. They change the goal structure from academic skills only to add non-cognitive skills, which include creativity, collaboration, initiative, and other elements of entrepreneurship and innovation, and a passion to learn, build, and belong. They use authentic problem and project-based techniques. Two excellent examples are Microsoft's 21st Century Learning Design and Duke University's Bright Idea, which I monitored. 21st century schools are dramatically different. They tend to be quite academically successful. Duke's at-risk population went from 1 to 29% gifted, an astonishing result, and a high-fidelity school went from 41 to 87% proficient with no test prep or extra hours as the racial achievement gap dropped 73%. Microsoft's 21st Century Learning Design has also had excellent results. Students and teachers learn a broad tool set and become extremely engaged, in contrast with the 40 to 60% of American high school students that are chronically disengaged. Authentic 21st century classrooms are powered by a diversity of students showing a wide variety of ethnicity, family income, knowledge level, learning style, and personal interests. Children from at-risk populations and gifted students respond especially well. 21st century schooling is in its early infancy, where personal computers were when they were just wires and chips in a hobbyist cardboard box. There is vast creative territory ahead once we can get the innovation spiral powered up. To experience 21st century schooling, check out the Earthquake Demonstration Project at this URL. Now we can understand our school's central disconnect and how to fix it by looking at 4 systems that define our children's lives. First is natural human learning and its component drives, which starts before birth and resonates with the 21st century model. Children are curious and creative. Developmental psychologist Alison Gopnik describes childhood as humanity's R&D department. Sugata Mitra in his TED Talk of the Year 2013 shows that human learning is built on innate non-cognitive skills like creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration, the very ones destroyed by the 19th century model. They are the foundation for excited, deep, and rapid learning, even for these impoverished children learning on the street without teachers. Second is creative technology, which increasingly defines the world our children live in from age 1 or 2. Third is the 21st century world of work, which requires entrepreneurial thinking and collaborative action. Finally, we have school, which connects all 3 of these systems. Today, the way we teach is incompatible with the way we learn, with the tools our kids use, and with the world of work. This triple incompatibility is the innovation barrier. But with a 21st century model, schools amplify basic learning drives, and everything starts working. Getting these systems working together and starting an education innovation spiral would be an immense boost to global innovation and is a huge opportunity for Microsoft. Here's why. America, traditionally the global engine of innovation, is being crippled by the school innovation barrier. Creating an innovation spiral that takes the shackles off humanity's R&D department would rev that powerful engine and would create a new, beyond world-class form of education that would spread to schools, universities, and organizations around the globe, with Microsoft in the lead. Schools have 10 to 20,000 hours of impact on every child in the country, so they can give all citizens the tool to be engaged, informed, employable, and self-reliant. This is an important part of the solution to major problems, from income inequality to race relations to deficit reduction to scourges like crime, drug abuse, and welfare dependency. Driving this change would dramatically enhance Microsoft's brand equity. A school innovation spiral would grow U.S. GDP at least $3 trillion, creating new generations of innovators raised on Microsoft solutions and dramatically expanding the market for digital technology. And the $1.2 trillion in new taxes would boost science and technology research, including landmark projects like the BRAIN Initiative, particle accelerators, the space program, and other drivers of innovation. Finally, improving U.S. schools is widely seen as extremely difficult. Business leaders like Lou Gerstner, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg have tried to make a dent with little success. Making a solution work would spark a new faith in American leadership and be immediately recognized as world-class innovation, greatly enhancing Microsoft's brand. So why is Microsoft well positioned to exploit this opportunity? With Windows, Office, Xbox, and other products, Microsoft has been the primary driver of productivity and therefore innovation spirals in all industries. 21st century schooling is built on tools for productivity and creativity, not traditional educational software. Microsoft clearly has the productivity infrastructure, but it also understands 21st century education and has invested $700 million in a huge toolbox of 21st century tools like MSEN and the Worldwide Telescope used in the earthquake example. Although several new tools would need to be added, Microsoft's extensive 21st century toolset is ready to be integrated and upgraded to the next level to drive the innovation spiral in education. In addition, Microsoft's new generation of products, including Windows 10, the HoloLens, and $300 tablet PCs, strongly enhance Microsoft's 21st century education platform. But why now? After all the failed 19th century reform efforts, why would 21st century reform, an education innovation spiral, work now? Well, it's already started. There are 4 or 5 transformation organizations that have each successfully created or transformed at least 100 21st century schools in the U.S., and this is accelerating. The innovation spiral is real, although nascent. But the role of prime mover is currently open. It is not likely to be so for long. What would it take for Microsoft to become the prime mover? Here are 5 key tasks. Microsoft must first internalize that the education market, instead of being a marginally profitable stepchild industry, becomes a huge driver of innovation and, ultimately, profitability. Microsoft should envision a complete innovation spiral scenario, like the $3 trillion solution, then align internal forces around it. There is currently no well-articulated, comprehensive, successful model of 21st century schooling. Microsoft should integrate its systems and add several new elements to develop and pilot this model. Microsoft would create at least one extremely high-value 21st century project that demonstrates the incredible power and excitement of 21st century schooling. A great topic would be space exploration and habitation. Microsoft should develop a micro-reform model that provides an iterative blueprint to manage change from the 19th century to the 21st century model, and puts teachers at the heart of 21st century school reform. Once the classroom and micro-reform models are ready, Microsoft should create a transformation organization to pilot them. As the system matures, Microsoft would partner with outside organizations that can scale up transformation as the innovation spiral accelerates. Finally, the key to boosting this acceleration is communications. The case for 21st century schooling is overwhelming once you see the passion and brilliance of students and teachers in these schools. When educators can see the future they can build for themselves, they will start a movement to build it. When parents understand that their children can travel deep into the Amazon or witness the signing of the Declaration of Independence or zoom through space or do original genetic research, they will demand 21st century schools. When governors and legislators understand that 21st century schooling can dramatically boost their state economy and reduce societal costs, they will pass innovative funding laws. Microsoft must bring the imaginative, thrilling, and extremely compelling world of 21st century learning to a global audience. Implemented effectively, these 5 key tasks will make Microsoft the prime mover in the most important innovation spiral in history. There's one final and overriding reason why Microsoft should power up a teacher innovation spiral: because it can. Microsoft has the tools, the innovative spirit, the global brand, and the resources to solve one of the biggest problems compromising humanity's future, and to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. All that needs to be added is the vision and the will to create a $3 trillion solution.